This young man was trying to stay calm and accept the fact that he had been reincarnated into another world. But man, other people who get reincarnated either have insane talent or a busted system to back them up. Basically, they're the kind of people who start at the finish line. However, Fang Ping got jack squat. His family were laborers earning a measly salary. Basically, they had no financial backing whatsoever, as if fate was playing a cruel joke. Fang Ping awakened, a system that required money to increase his vitality. 10,000 yuan could increase his vitality by 0.1 points. That price was way too steep. At least this system had some conscience. It only deducted money from within the system, not from the real world. So the young man didn't lose the 10,000 yuan that his family had painstakingly saved up for him to take the martial arts exam. The next morning, Fang Ping went to school as usual. Today was the registration day for the martial arts exam. Seeing him stand up, Chen Fan thought he had to use the restroom again, but unexpectedly he grabbed the money and courageously headed straight for the teacher's office. Everyone knew Fang Ping's family was poor, so his classmates were quite surprised to see him there. I can't believe Fang Ping is also signing up. What's your vitality level now? Fang Ping felt that 1.1 sounded a bit low, so he didn't dare say it out loud. Seeing him hesitate, his friend Yang Jin spoke up for him. I don't think Fang Ping knows. Otherwise, he would have said something already. The last time I got checked at the hospital, it was 108 cal. Fang Ping is as skinny as a rail. He's definitely not as high as me. Another person chimed in. Fang Ping tried to hide his shock. 108 was an incredibly high number for him right now. He never thought the gap between him and his classmates was so huge. Then a classmate named Wu Jihao offered to help Fang Ping check his level after school. The moment he said that, everyone around was stunned. A home vitality meter, even the cheapest one, costs over 100,000. Fang Ping couldn't help but feel dismayed. In his past life, buying a home blood pressure monitor, even the most expensive one, was only a few hundred. Is this Wu Jihao's family sitting on a gold mine or something? They're so loaded. Curious about whether his vitality unit was the same as everyone else's, and so Fang Ping ended up going home with Wu Jihao. After listening to him ramble on about the machine for what felt like an eternity, Fang Ping sat on it and began to measure his vitality. And the number displayed in the results gave Wu Jihao a look of utter shock. Fang Ping's vitality level was actually 113 cal. Fang Ping secretly felt relieved. The readings in the system and in reality had a different conversion method. This 113 cal was equivalent to 1.1 in the system, meaning the conversion rate was about 1 to 100. Otherwise, he might have become the biggest scrub with the lowest vitality in history. Seeing Fang Ping's calm demeanor, Wu Jihao couldn't help but ask, "Hey Fang Ping, why aren't you reacting at all? Your vitality level is the second highest in our class. Why are you so nonchalant?" Only then did it dawn on Fang Ping. It seemed he was supposed to show some joy or surprise. Yeah, that was the right reaction. When he returned home, Fang, Mingrong, and Li Yuying were worriedly sitting in the bedroom. They heard from the class director that taking the martial arts exam required an investment of tens of thousands in supplements. Now that their son had registered, even if the family was short on money, they couldn't just ignore him. Fang, Mingrong gathered all their cash savings, which was only 20,000. He was planning to withdraw more the next day when he heard his daughter's sharp voice. "Stop capping, you only need 100 to take the martial arts exam." "How could you have 113 cal?" Fang Ping pinched Fang Yuan's chubby cheek and said triumphantly, "Sorry, your brother is just a natural-born talent. I've got this year's martial arts exam in the bag. It's a 9 out of 10 chance." Li Yuying appeared and broke up the fight between her two children. She then called Fang Ping into the room for a private talk. His parents' serious atmosphere made him a little nervous. Then, Fang Mingrong placed a stack of cash into his hand, saying it was for buying supplements. If he needed more, he could ask for it. As soon as he held it, his wealth stat jumped to 20,000 points. Fang Mingrong kept apologizing to his son for not paying attention before and hindering his future. From now on, they would pool all their resources to support him for the martial arts exam. Fang Ping returned to his room with a heavy heart. His dad told him to use this money to buy medicine, but he was also afraid that spending 20,000 on medicine without getting good results would be a huge waste of money. It would be faster to just use the system. So, Fang Ping decided to use 10,000 wealth points to exchange for 0.1 spirit points. As soon as the points increased, Fang Ping immediately felt like a young woman's small hands were embracing his head, giving him a gentle massage. His thoughts also expanded, like he was running on a cow yuan. His concentration, comprehension, and thinking skills all increased significantly. He got so absorbed that he read a physics book all night, which is why he was so sleepy this morning. While lost in thought, Fang Ping was tackled by someone from the opposite direction, who put him in a headlock. He fell onto the landing, his whole body aching. When he came to his senses, he saw it was Yang Jian. "You sly dog, you really kept it under wraps. I can't believe your vitality is a whole 113 cal. Come to think of it, I'm only at 110 cal. Tell me, have you been training in secret? After Yang Jian came Wu Jihao, who also approached with a big grin on his face. It was true that in this school, if one person knew something, the whole school knew. Just you watch. Next to Wu Jihao was the friend from yesterday, who bragged about his vitality being 108 cal. He came forward and threw Yang Jian aside with one hand, then stared intently at Fang Ping. It seemed this young man had taken a major blow from the new information he'd received. He had bulging muscles and a sturdy back, such a healthy appearance, but his vitality was only 108 cal. Meanwhile, Fang Ping, who was as skinny as a rail with limbs that looked powerless, had a reading of 113 cal. This was just ridiculous. Just then, a bald teacher walked by. As soon as he saw Fang Ping, he threw a thick stack of books into his hands. They were all books related to martial arts. He didn't forget to remind him privately, "Fang Ping, take these books home and read them. Everything you need to train is in there. Since you've registered for the martial arts exam, you must do well. Although you're a little behind the others, the teachers will support you fully." Fang Ping was a little touched by the special attention. In his past life, he wasn't close to this teacher, Old Ban, but he couldn't deny that he was a good teacher. It seems this life isn't too different. Speaking of which, as Teacher Ban was about to leave, he stopped as if he remembered something. "Oh, right, you guys. You don't have to go to class today. I have a mission for you. I had to ask your class director, Xiaozhong, several times to get this opportunity. And the mission that Old Ban had just mentioned was to go pick up Wang Jinyang, their senior. He was currently a freshman at Nanjiang Martial Arts University. As soon as Wang Jinyang got off the bus, he was drawn to a group of students in his old school uniform. They even brought flowers to welcome him. Fang Ping observed him carefully from head to toe. He felt that, although this Wang Jinyang was a real martial artist, he seemed a bit more ordinary than he had imagined. Compared to other guys who just started college, he wasn't much different. Earlier, when Old Ban mentioned Wang Jinyang, Fang Ping couldn't help but blurt out, "Who's that?" As a result, all the other students were shocked. "What, you don't know who Wang Jinyang is?" Their reaction was as if Fang Ping didn't know who the current president of their country was. Then a female student, who seemed to be a huge fan of Wang Jinyang, gave him a crash course on the spot. "That Wang Jinyang guy is 19 years old, 170 cm tall, and from Yangcheng just like them. He likes to eat apples and cilantro, and dislikes almost nothing. His favorite thing to do is train his body. His family isn't rich, but he never gave up on studying martial arts. In the end, when he took the exam, he successfully achieved the rank of first in martial arts in Yangcheng, and got into Nanjiang Martial Arts University. He was also the first person from a regular class at Yangcheng High School to get into Nanjiang. It's said that after getting into the martial arts university, Wang Jinyang didn't slack off on his physical training for a single moment. So he became a martial artist in his freshman year. Hearing this profile, he seems like a very outstanding person. No wonder all the female students in the school are crazy about him. But seeing him in person now, Fang Ping felt that this guy seemed a bit average. And the way they welcomed him seemed a bit over the top. Even Wang Jinyang, who received such an overly warm welcome, was a little embarrassed. He came back this time to interact with students from his old school. But these students, while on the bus, were already eager for Wang Jinyang to share his experience of passing the martial arts exam. That guy was also an easygoing person. As soon as the juniors asked, he answered right away. To pass the martial arts exam, you have to go through 5 major assessment categories, including political assessment, cultural and professional physical fitness test, and a practical examination. This is something everyone knows. Among them, the 2 most difficult parts are the physical fitness test and the practical examination. According to Wang Jinyang, students with a vitality level of around 107 are in a very risky position if they want to get into a martial arts university. But if you know how to channel your emotions, the result might be different. Emotions like joy, anger, love, and hate when pushed to their limits will cause their vitality to surge, especially anger. The simplest and most effective way is to imagine yourself being humiliated. It sounds absurd, but it's very persuasive. Once you pass the physical fitness test, the practical exam is no longer difficult. The examination board will mainly assess your explosive power, endurance, and flexibility. Of course, there are quite a few scrubs among the candidates who grew up on supplements. So apart from their vitality, they are useless in other aspects. If you put a chicken in front of them and they can't even kill it, how can they fight people? Right. Later on, you will find that taking a human life is much harder than killing a chicken. Fang Ping suddenly felt a chill down his spine. How could Wang Jinyang say those words so calmly? It sounded like he had actually taken a life before. Really? Even though this world was a different world where martial artists were revered, it was still bound by law. There was no opportunity to take another person's life, let alone the fact that he was just a freshman. Nevertheless, after just that one sentence, Fang Ping immediately felt that he should be wary of Wang Jinyang carefully. After he and his classmates took Wang Jinyang home, he also returned to his own home. He lay on his bed, thinking for a long time about what Wang Jinyang had said earlier. He still couldn't understand how he could utter those words so nonchalantly. Meanwhile, Wang Jinyang in his own home received a phone call. "Mr. Wang, sorry to bother you, but we just received new information. The suspect has fled to Kangshan Mountain, and Kangshan Mountain spans 2 provinces. Once the target escapes, didn't I tell you? Wait for me before you make a move." Wang Jinyang cut the other person off, dissatisfied. "I'm really sorry, Mr. Wang, but if he escapes this time, our superiors will definitely hold us accountable. We'll be screwed by then. That's your problem. How about this 500,000 dead or alive?" Wang Jinyang's eyes were fierce when he said those words. Although it was unclear who was on the other end of the line or what they were discussing, it was clear that this Wang Jinyang's identity was not simply that of a college freshman. At the same time, Fang Ping at home made a decision to spend his last 10,000s to increase his vitality by 0.1 points. After all, he wanted to be more certain about passing the martial arts university entrance exam. After his vitality was enhanced, the feeling was completely different from last time. His heart felt like it was being squeezed. Fang Ping clutched his chest in pain, struggling to breathe but couldn't. Finally, he collapsed onto the bed, gradually losing consciousness. Fang Ping could even hear his own heartbeat clearly. When he woke up, his body was still in extreme pain. As he struggled to sit up, Fang Ping noticed that both his hands were covered in bulging veins, large and small. "This isn't a side effect of increasing my vitality, is it?" After a period of adjustment, by constantly massaging his hands, Fang Ping finally felt the sensation of vitality surging through his body. And at that moment, he realized something. He had almost forgotten his task of picking up Wang Jinyang and taking him to school. Fang Ping quickly threw on his school uniform and rushed out of the house. On the way, he accidentally bumped into a person with their face completely covered, carrying several large and small cardboard boxes. This person actually dropped a knife, but quickly hid it back inside their sleeve. Fang Ping apologized verbally, but in his heart he was on guard. "Is that the new tenant from upstairs? Something feels off," he thought to himself. Not long after, Fang Ping and his friends met up with Wang Jinyang. Yang Jin, sitting next to him, kept praising how amazing their high school was for being able to invite this guy to come and